Hey, 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 welcome everybody to the Really Charlie podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Perry, and today's guest is Lionel Peter Walker, my man.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Feeling blessed. Another day, man. Glad to be here with you, brother.
Oh, yeah, it's a long time coming. I'm glad we got this together and, get to talk about a few things. And I really, really appreciate you sharing your time with me and the Really Charlie podcast, viewers. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this podcast off with a little commercial, and then we'll get into the subject matter. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, everyone. Dollar more. Reach out today. That business will definitely do you some justice. Definitely help you out with your lawn care, and I highly recommend Dollar more. All right. So, all right, brother. We already got our first comment, man. Look at this. What's good? What's good? Someone's saying. All right, Facebook user. That's the one thing. My
My
guy's,
guy, Brandon.
that's it. My man doing his work. He's doing good things, man. Hey, Brandon. Myself and Peter, we need a loan. You're making a lot of money out
For
there.
real, right?
Yeah, help us out here.
For real.
Mr. Joey Gonzalez on the podcast, like always. Love it, love it.
All right, people, hold on. I look spry, but let me get my glasses on because I'm having a little hard time over here. Don't laugh
All
at me,
right.
right? We out here. Glasses gang.
That's all right. It's all good, man. I
Nah, I'm
know the
joking. You know I'm joking.
I know the feeling. So the I wanted to bring you on this podcast for a couple of reasons, and I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Ian, Ian White, and we were basically talking about you and praising you, how all the stuff that you have been doing. So I want to first tell you um, that you are the first recipient of the Really Charlie Sunshine Award,
Oh,
and
what,
and
what?
and that's coming your way. And
Wow, wow.
and I just want to let you know that the award is given to a person that is with loyal and dedication to the community and trying to make others a whole lot brighter. And you will get that award. I tried to pick it up today, and there was a delay. So, but whatever, it is what it is. But I just want to let you know that you're going to get that award, and you deserve it. All the faces that we can see on the background is smiling faces. You have made people a whole lot more. they got more confidence. They're doing a lot of good things. Every time I wear one of your shirts, people instantly identify it with you, and then after that becomes a abundance of praise for you and
Mm,
what you have done for them. And the most impressive thing that I like about you is that you came into the city. This is your home. Initially, it was your second home, and then you come in here and you just hit it by storm. And the things that you have excelled in and done for this city in this short period of time is amazing. And I just want to say, that I appreciate you. I appreciate your family because you are married with children, and it takes a lot of time and dedication to do what you're doing on the outside of the house. And I just want to say thank you.
no, listen. I didn't know, so obviously, and I'm completely blown away by that, and I'm thankful. But I just want to. I always toss the love back, and I want to say that, I grew up in a very tough background, so that people can get confused by who they see now and not understand the journey that I've gone through. So most people when they find out that I haven't gone to college or anything like that are completely flabbergasted by that fact while I'm building a library for our community and things like that, right? And one of the key things is what I want people to understand is that the transformation that everybody has seen is something that New Bedford allowed me to be able to do. Now, even though I faced some difficulties in this journey, as far as like being embraced in New Bedford is different because there's such a tight knit community. I get it.
Hmm.
And I thought the best way for me to go about it was, especially if I was looking to really transform my life, was to be forward facing about what I want to do as far as the community. You know what I mean? And I thought it was the best way for me to engage the community. Even before I even went on this community run, it was a business practice that I had. I wasn't going to go to someone's community, try to sell them my mixtape, but I'm not offering their kids any fulfillment. I'm not offering their community any fulfillment. So I just kind of
Hmm.
converted that energy into a space in New Bedford. I've been for the last 10 years. This is my 10th year here. And it's been nothing but short of a blessing. I'm thankful for all the young people that have been around me. It's a two-way street. I'm thankful for the elders like yourself and so many people around us. Again, a two-way street. And the relationships that I have here have really culminated me into this person. So I'm extremely humbled and extremely thankful to be the first recipient. Is wild
Hmm.
to me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank Ian, and thank all the people who support and continue to support me, because I tell people all the time that the work that I do, I walk a line every day. It's a hard line to be what my elders and my peer group may feel like I need to be, but I also have to be knowledgeable enough to be able to relate to these young people. Example, you just heard some young people come into the building just now.
Hmm.
We're having a little gathering here tonight for some of these young people. So we provide balanced platforms for them, meaning that when they do positive music, we've
Yes.
created a system where they're paid for that. We incentivize positive behavior. Now, to a lot of people, when we first formulated this, it seemed counterintuitive because it's like, why would
Hmm.
I pay them to do what they're supposed to be doing? Because we live in a culture now where so many people are being incentivized to do negative stuff. So how do we even bring
Exactly.
that balance back? And I know this from experience. I could have people around me telling me all the greatest things they want in the world. When I went home to my neighborhood, that drug dealer, his Benz and everything was shining. The conversation went null and void. So how do we combat that? We have to keep our people in our community that are actually committing that time to the community whole. And we have to keep our young people whole by incentivizing them to do better things. But at the same time, like tonight, this is an uncensored event. This is for my young adults, and they're
Hmm.
coming here and they're allowing themselves to express themselves. Now, there's going to be plenty of crazy bars in here, but I'd rather them do that in here than to take that energy into the streets. So
Exactly.
it's just
Yep.
I understand intimately what it was like to be them. And I think sometimes as adults, as we get older, we forget what it was like when we were 15, 16, 20,
Hmm.
22. And I haven't forgotten that. You know what I mean? So it's a part of the reason why I'm so effective at the work that I do. And again, I just thank New Bedford for embracing me, and allowing me to go through this transformation, because from who I was 10 years ago to who I am now is a completely different person, in every way.
Yeah. It's so thinking about presenting the award to you. It's the Sunshine Award, and then look at you, shine. You know, that's
It's the
that's like,
universe.
how's that? That's just awesome, man. It just you can't you can't write that script, man. You
You
can't
can't.
write it. You can't write it. And so God is good, and I appreciate
But can I take a
everything.
second to give you your flowers, brother? First off, your
Sure.
career, the story is equally the same. Every time I run anybody about Charlie Perry, I hear nothing but fantastic things. Meeting you myself, I met you through a young man who was running for his mayoral campaign out here, and for you to be supporting him, knowing that you ran before, was absolutely incredible to me. The time and dedication that you've done to show good policing in our community has been nothing short of amazing. And I always try to tell people when they talk about the dynamics of the police in our community, I tell them to look at somebody like a Charlie Perry who actually goes into the job
Thank
and
you.
wants to affect change from the bottom down, from the top down, and the bottom
Thank you.
back up. So I appreciate you for that, because we need more examples like you. And then even in your retirement, it's so much more powerful because you didn't disengage, you didn't go right off into the sunset. No, you've been engaged, and you're doing things like this, highlighting all these beautiful businesses of color and people in general. So again,
Hmm.
flowers should go back to you for creating this platform for real, because we needed positive platforms in New Bedford.
Yes. Yes, we did.
It's
Thank
too
you.
much too much clickbait out here.
Hmm. This that means a lot, and more than you know. And I just that's what I'm about. I'm looking. I'm just looking to do things, but I'm not looking to do things to get praise about it. It's just I'm only live once, so let me try to affect
Correct.
this. Let me try to affect the community, people. That I come face to face with, in a positive way. And if there is some negative things, guess what? We all have a bad day.
We all have it, yeah. It's it's
Hmm.
it's human nature. I think a lot of us forget that. We get caught up in the fingers pointing, and someone taught me a long time ago, when you're pointing a finger, there's four pointing back at you. So we'll always remember that.
So true.
And what's
Nice.
interesting is the one thing that I wanted to utilize this opportunity to talk about is some of the difficulties I faced in the last 10 years. A lot of people see the end result, and
Yeah.
I appreciate people are appreciating that result, but there's a lot of steps in between there that were, for lack of a better term, extremely hard to build these relationships with such a tight knit community. Even 10 years in, I'm still developing more relationships. And I just want to talk to our community, especially our community of color. I am not of the ilk of, there's not anywhere I travel in the world, and this is not everybody, but I have experienced this, and I want to talk about it because it's something that I feel like is detrimental to our ability to unify and make a difference. I don't have when I say Black Lives Matter, or when I'm out here fighting for people, like I separate. I understand nuance, so
Hmm.
I can be a part of something but not agree with everything. And I think that's what
Exactly.
something that we have lost. So there are aspects of it, like where it's like, I understand Black Lives Matter, but I also don't think all cops are bad. I think all cops are subject to being in a system that is detrimentally flawed from historical purposes. But
Yeah.
the individual officers try to go into this in their own situations. Some are better than others, and it's just like when you go to Walmart or anything else. You're gonna have people there who suck, and you got people that are great at their job. You're gonna have people who treat it more than a job, and you're gonna have people who treat it less than a job. They just do the bare
Yes.
minimum. So we forget the humanality of people in our service industries, people in police, fire, and all of that other stuff. So I try to maintain that nuance. In doing so, the one thing that I really want to push the most on our young people, especially our young people in the community, is we cannot fight for the equity of the community of color with an asterisk of only if they're local. We have to be
Yeah.
mindful that what we see here in New Bedford is a dichotomy of what we see across the country. In a lot of
Hmm.
ways, many of our marginalized communities are ubiquitous in that this kind of problems that we have here are found in all of our communities. So we have to start learning how to bridge those gaps between those villages to form tribes. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I just want to, touch on that, because this has not been an easy path, especially when you're not from here and you're dealing with people who, I understand that they feel a sense of entitlement to where they're from. I get it. Their roots are set here. But
Yeah.
sometimes in life, business, relationships, whatever, sometimes you need an outside perspective. You just have to do your due diligence at vetting those people that
Hmm.
come from the outside in. That's why I've spent my last 10 years. Like, at this point, after 10 years, if you don't believe I am for what I'm for, then I can't help you in that regard. All I can do is keep the doors open and have you come in and keep getting this energy and this love until you
Hmm.
get it. But but again, I think that we have to do a better job, because I've really done my homework on the history of the Portuguese population, the Cape Verdean relationship here and on the island.
Yes.
And it's a deeply rooted story, but there is a lot of aspects in that story. We've talked about this when you were here before, that there's a lot of effects from that colonialism that happened on the island that still trickle down into some of the dynamics of how New Bedford is moving now. And we have to be very careful based on what's going to happen in the next 10 years, because you know just as well as I know all of these massive changes that are coming into the city. And it seems like COVID kind of expedited that process. So
Yes.
I just want everybody to be more than woke. I want people to be more than woke. I want you to be woke, aware, and then action steps. We have to take action. We can't be cool with just being positivists and feeling like we got it off because we vented to the internet. It doesn't do anything there. We have to do it in the real world.
So true. And some people don't realize that, the things that you're trying to do, if you have a strong base, foundation, things can get accomplished. And they can
Correct.
get accomplished, and you just got to kind of, got to remember that action plan. It's, so many people, it reminds me of, how everyone had some kind of argument or complaint about whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden I'm saying, look, I want to start with you. What is the best solution? And they're
Correct.
dumbfounded, don't have anything. That's
Mm-hmm.
not for me to decide. That's not for me to do. Yeah, it is. You're part of the community just like I am. But give me a solution. All right, you give me something. I have what I have. And guess what? Let's kind of bring it all together and see what you got. It's a recipe for success, most likely.
Yes, I say it all the time. It's not about one of us. It's about the sum of us.
Yes.
Some people get into the, like you said, people get into the byproduct of hearing praise about my family and what we're doing. I personally, like, honestly, like, I literally, like, I can give two F's about any of that. What I really care about is the results. That's what keeps me up at night. My wife will tell you, and people that work with me will tell you consistently, they don't even know how I function at the rate that I do. I have two daughters here, my wife here, but I also, again, prior to this, I was a womanizer. I was out in the streets. I was what some people would. I was the person you'd be chasing down to lock up, Charlie, like, for real. And I wouldn't have blamed you if you locked my black ass up back then, because I was wild. You know what I'm saying? I was running around with guns. I got fingers all messed up, deviated. I've been stabbed, all that crap. You know what I'm saying? I came from a family of seven. There was 9 of us cousins in my generation, male cousins that were alive, and there's only 2 of us left alive. So it's like, I understand pain. All of my uncles, all are lifers. The only one that's not a lifer is out here, and he's on SSI because he lost his mind in those streets. So I understand this pain intimately. My mom, God bless her, my mom did everything she could to raise us. I am so appreciative. It still doesn't change the fact that she battled her addiction demons as well. It doesn't change the fact that my dad wasn't around. And all of these little intimate things that used to be the things that hurt me the most growing up and I felt like were holding me back are actually the things that are giving me strength during these times, especially during this pandemic, where people are kind of like soft about some things and you can tell who went through something after the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just appreciative at this age and where I'm at in my life. I'm actually appreciative of every single wall I've ever hit. I'm actually appreciative of every single hurdle that's ever been in front of me. And I look at ebbs completely differently. I embrace the ebbs to enjoy the flows. I treat life like a storm. Like the storm sucks. But when it passes, man, the weather's going to be beautiful. You know what I mean? So all we got to do is prepare for those storms, stay prepared, get through those storms, and enjoy the clear weather on the other side. You know what I mean? The grass isn't greenest in the yard. The grass is greenest where you take care of it. And that's what I started to realize, even in the mentality of how I was treating women. This, to me, is the first woman I've been married to and the first woman I've ever in my entire life been faithful to. I never tried it the quote unquote right way. I never even gave it a shot. And when I talk about my kids' mothers, because I have 3 sons, and I had what would be considered Irish twins. I'm very candid about this, which an Irish gentleman told me, so no offense. And my 2 kids' mothers have a different perspective of me for sure. And when my sons come to me, because my sons are all in their teens now, I tell them, no, your mother's accurate. At that time, that's who I was. And it does me no good to lie to you and act like that I wasn't that guy. In fact, I want you to know those hurdles that I faced. I want you to know how I was, to respect who I am now, and understand that you don't need to ever even be in that process. So it's really the strongest tool for me has been community support and owning a big ass mirror. Like I always in the morning, I get up, I spend a few minutes in the mirror, and nobody has to pep talk me. I am the worst. I'm in the mirror at myself. I'm like, don't be a punk A today. Go out
Mm-hmm.
here and care about people and do it from your soul and worry about the rest later. You know what I mean? Because in a lot of ways, I've sacrificed much of my business acumen and my business side to do this community work. Just like this space down here at the communal space. This is not a space for me to profit from. It's in the name. It's for the community. So we're
Yes.
really looking for more people from the community to utilize it. I've hit people up, inboxed them. I'm shaking people down to get them to come utilize the space because I understood that barrier historically that there was between the businesses of color in the community and the downtown business. But what we have to understand is no matter what those divides are, we still have to be tapped into downtown economy in order to build our economy as well and spread it back to our communities. We have to do both. It's not either or. We have to do both.
Yeah, and I try to tell everyone that this downtown has been here since the whaling days. It's not going anywhere. So get involved with it. When things are essential and things need to be done down there, guess what? Help out. Be part of it. You have to, and it's to me. I love walking down there, regardless of what I see,
Correct.
good, bad, and ugly. Regardless of what I see, I still like walking down there and doing my thing.
Even if
So
you feel like it's not, even if you feel like it's not for you, right? There's
hmm
still something you can learn from people that have things that are set up not for you.
yes,
I learned more. I learned a lot from the conversations that I had with people in the community, but I learned more when I actually entered downtown and started being like, let me go to this meeting, see what this is
hmm
about. Let me go
yeah,
over here. I just came out of the ARPA meeting with this 64 million coming to the city. People, if we do not get engaged, all of that money is just going to fly right over our heads. If
so
we do
true.
not get engaged with the wind industry, it's a billion heading towards $1 trillion industry, and they're giving out free courses. If we don't take, because we know the game, they'll slightly market it to the community.
hmm
Then they'll say, no one answered. No one answered our call. But guess who's going to get those jobs? And then we'll be sitting here acting like we didn't have an opportunity when we have to understand that's how the game is played. We have to go seek our treasure.
Yeah.
Treasure doesn't land in your lap. You got to go find the X on the map, right? So
hmm
we have to start going out here and seeking what we want. There's a $1 billion industry that's being shored up right here in New Bedford. It's a clean energy industry. We need to have us be the leaders in that industry because look at what's happened with dispensaries. We got a whole bunch of young men of color locked up behind bars, but then we got dispensaries that open and benefit people who never even had to take any of the risks that those young people did, and they're sitting behind bars.
Yes.
So we have to be active. We have to be engaged. It has to be more than the marches. Y'all seen me marching, but I always try to be an example. I was out there with those young people because they started that charge, but I just want to keep them safe. I didn't want them to add themselves to the body list by being naive and not understanding the dynamics of human emotions and officers as well. And especially if you're doing things that you're understanding the danger of what you're
Yeah.
getting into. When I seen young people shooting Roman candles at people with Glocks, I said it was time for me to go outside.
hmm
Clearly, you don't understand the false equivalence in that
yeah.
battle right there.
Oh
That you
yeah.
didn't bring a knife to a gunfight, you brought a
hmm
Roman candle to a gunfight.
Yeah.
Nah, let me go outside. But with saying that, I thought, what was the next phase? I had this space secured, but we weren't really doing anything with it. I just was using it for meeting space. And after being out there with those young people, I said, we need a place that's downtown that people can convene. I'm the only business downtown that has a Pan-African flag hanging outside. That's not as a sign of warning. That's to make this city, that's to make downtown get comfortable with seeing our colors and our culture
Yeah.
in downtown.
And
And again, like shout out to the brother across the street, Mikey Montero, doing his thing. He got a whole building across the street. This is what I'm talking about. We have an
yes.
opportunity in this city to really, really, really come together and do something, but the window is closing. I give it 5 years max. My property value has doubled in the last year. And I keep hearing people that don't understand saying things like, oh, we'll wait till it comes down. It's not coming down. They're building condos downtown. There's two different sites downtown where condos are going to be built. I
Yes.
watched this happen in Boston over the last 2 decades. When I first came to New Bedford, you could find a solid 3-bedroom for $600. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist at all anymore. And that was just 10 years ago. So I'm extremely adamant. Aside from, I should be promoting my space. Forget that. I'm extremely, because the space won't matter. The space won't matter if you're not here. The
Yeah.
space won't matter if you're pushed out. So please connect with people like my man Brandon and understand how easy it actually is to get yourself into a home, even if you're I don't care if you're bagging groceries. It's a job. You're working a job. People like Brandon Burke that's commenting right now can help you fix your credit, which is much easier than everything in life is steps.
Yes.
Once I really realized it was just me avoiding the steps that was holding me back, and I started taking those steps, the world opened up. And sometimes we take limitations on from people that are setting those limitations on us based on limitations they experienced in their life. But what you have to do is understand that you don't have any boundaries. The only boundaries that you have are the ones you're going to be that you set for yourself or you believe from someone else. If I believed all the limits that were passed on to me, I would not be sitting here having this conversation with you. Every single day of my life past 30 has been nothing but a gift to me. I swore to everything. My wife now to this day, she says, stop saying that. I'm like, I'm telling you, I didn't think I was going to be alive today to be having these conversations with people or be this person. So I tell my young people, stay in the fight long enough, listen long enough, and activate long enough to see yourself shine. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's that's a lot of deep knowledge, and it should be common knowledge. It should be common knowledge, and that's by you talking and saying exactly what you had to just now. It should be common. People should be basically doing what you said, straighten up that credit, because it only takes a year or less. You can straighten that out, and guess what? Now you got potential. Now you have qualifications to do exactly what you're talking about. And let's just face it, man. People's wardrobes equivalent to a mortgage payment.
Correct. Yo, listen, my friends in Boston, I have 4 friends. They all are paying $1,200 a month to share an apartment.
Yes.
That's 4 times my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And I got plenty of room. I got a yard. I can go outside. I can sit in a hammock. You know what I'm saying? And again, I listen, I intimately understand. I'm not one of those people that got there and forget what it was like before there. So I get it. It's frightening. It was frightening to me my wife came from better background than me. Her family had homes and stuff. So this wasn't unfamiliar territory to her, but it was extremely unfamiliar territory to me.
Yeah.
But now that in 6 months of living in a home, I realized a lot of things. First off, this is the funniest part. When you are in the housing, they change the light bulbs, they shovel the snow, they do all of that. I kind of missed the projects for like 2 months in the summer. After my 4th time mowing that grass, I was like, damn, where's maintenance? But the sense of ownership, that my mind opened up in a different way. If you've never owned anything, then you can't understand that psyche that changes, that frequency that changes in your mind. Yes. When you now have something that's going to be a part of your legacy. People talk like it's like the concept of young people who say, I'm driving a foreign, I'm in a foreign. Bro, a Toyota's foreign, bro. Like, what are we talking about? We're debating semantics and we're not focused on the things that matter. I don't care. Listen, young people, I cannot tell any young person to go cold turkey from the street life that they live because half of the time they're feeding their families. But what I can tell you is if you don't have an out, if you're out here doing things and crap and you're just getting a pair of Jordans and whatever every week and you're blowing money on bottles at the club, that's a 300% markup. You don't get it. You're not a hustler. You're being hustled.
Yes.
And then that's how you end up in the system of recidivism where you keep ending up back in jail. So you have to understand, what are you hustling towards? What are you grinding towards? Everybody reveres Jay-Z, but Jay-Z used to sell drugs, man. He used to sell drugs. And I'm not saying that. I'm not judging because I understand the 80s, 90s, What I'm saying is at least at some point, his mind clicked in a way that was like, there has to be an out to this. I can't live I can't be, the worst thing I could see is a 40-year-old dude on the block that has to constantly still look over their shoulder. That's not the way. That's not the life. You know what I'm saying? I feel good waking up, just chilling with my daughters. And sometimes I do have a form of PTSD from the life that I was living. And sometimes I get anxiety, like randomly in the middle of the night. And what I do is I open my office door, I walk over to my wife's bedroom, I look at my girls and her sleeping in the bed, and I'm like, calm down, you're good. And then I breathe and I go back to fighting the mission. And when I appreciate still having those panic attacks and anxiety attacks every now and then, because it reminds me of some young person that's out here still living that every single day. And I'm just trying to find, I can't change the world. I can't make everybody come to the light. But the young people who do be around me are starting to think in a different way. If nothing else, they're starting to think in a different way. They're starting to see things in a different way. And I need more help. because I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just putting my heart out to people. I'm just committing my talents to people. You know how I am. I'll hit you up and be like, yo, I just designed this, take this, do this, whatever. Because that's who I am. Exactly. Now, I do understand that, you know, in this day and age, genuine people who are genuine, it almost seems too good to be true.
Yeah,
but people like yourself,
up, you know,
they're like, hold on, bro. What you mean we cool? Hold on, bro. I'm like, yo, I'm cool, bro.
Yeah.
And with saying that, you know, again, I just want these young people to understand, especially right now, especially the young people. The adults are going to do what they're kind of going to do. I've kind of given up on, to a certain degree, of adults. If you're ready to make the turn, then cool. I'm ready to help you make that turn. But a child or a youth, I'm going to literally, let's turn. Come on, let's go. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, you know, I just want to get them to understand. Again, I cannot stress enough. Please, for the love of everything, please just go look into the wind industry, because I guarantee you will sit back and let that opportunity pass. And it's probably the only gainful employment that's come into the city in the last how many years, you know, Charlie? You know what I'm saying? So we have to get a part of that. It is gainful, good paying employment. It's not the same. There's so many kids out here I know that are stuck, going from being fired from Dunkin's to being a Domino's to being to this to being to that, and they're stuck in the service industry, and there's no upward mobility. I can't even look my daughter in the face as a father and say, I can see the upward mobility for you here in New Bedford. And we have to create that upward mobility, and we can do that with the industry that's being built now. What's up, brother?
Exactly. You know, this is the Really Charlie podcast on StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. And this man next to me is Lonelle Walker. The dude is at the Communal space, 246 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass, downtown New Bedford, right at the intersection of Union and 6th Street. You know, you see the space. It's the most colorful space on the block over there. You can't pass. You can't miss it. But the reason why I'm giving this information out there is because I want people to remember 246 Union Street, the communal space. It's exactly what Lionel said earlier. Peter said earlier. It's for the community. It's in the name. There's so much things, you know, the books behind them, the artwork that's displayed all over the space. I had a podcast in there with a dear friend of mine that we did a podcast there, and that was great. He's still talking.
That was a dope show.
He's still talking about it. He's texting me, and he's so in awe. You know, one of his relatives reached out to me and said, "I can't find the podcast." I'm like, "Look, this is where you go. I'll send you the link." You know, and so that was great. You know, that was a memory. So now, guess what? I could have told that guest before the podcast, hey, this is where I want you to go. 246 Union Street. Where is that? Where is that? Now, guess what? He'll never forget where that spot is. And then he's also spreading the word to, you know, his family member, his friends, and so on and so forth. So, let me
give you a little update on what's going on here too. So just so y'all know, yes, let's talk about 246 a little bit. So I'm super excited to announce. I've said it a few times, but didn't do it on this huge, wonderful platform. So we have received some funding from Senator Montigny's office through some of the hard work that we've done. I was the recipient of the 2020 Black Excellence Award from the Massachusetts Black and Latino Democratic Caucus, along with Jabril Kazan. I'm very appreciative of that, because that, honestly, being honored with something with Jabril meant something more to me than the actual physical award. So that was amazing. And for me, it was like a full circle. But anyway, I digress. So in that relationship that we built, they came down to the space and they checked out what I'm doing here. So we raised up enough funds to buy a van. So we're looking for a van right now. As everybody knows, if you're in any kind of car industry right now, the market is crazy. Yep. But we do have the funding for our van. But the concept that we're going to be doing is this is going to be a community van. So as long as you can put yourself and pay for your part of your insurance as a registered driver, if you have another organization, even if you're a person and you just have something that you do on the side, we were gonna originally wrap the van with the communal space, but we're not gonna wrap it because we want people to be able to buy magnets and stick your business on the side of that van and go do your business as well. You know what I'm saying? So With that van, we hope to secure over this winter because the summer's been wild. And we have $10,000 in funding to expand our library here. In January, we'll be debuting that library. We're actually building out, we're looking for Black authors. So if you're a local Black author and you've written a book, or if you know of any local Black authors or authors, period, get us that information, because we're looking to put the thing, like I said earlier, we funnel the resources back into the community's hands. So we're definitely looking for any kind of resources. If you're interested in helping me curate this library, I am not an educator. I am
Hmm.
an edutainment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for people, like anybody who understands that can come here and help us curate this library, because this bookcase is going to be gone eventually. It's going to be floor to ceiling bookcases in
Awesome.
here, which is going to be
Awesome.
really cool. And for people to understand what this is, this space that we're at 246 is a pilot. What we're doing here is I'm trying to show the value in what I'm doing here as far as the work, what we're doing here as far as the work, and then presenting that in a way where we can actually open up our first privately owned, BIPOC owned community center in the area. And the reason that I think that is important is because, no knock to the community centers that exist, but they're tied to the city administration. So, for example, when schools are closed, the community center's closed. That doesn't
Yes.
make any sense to me. That's counterintuitive. That doesn't make any
Hmm.
sense whatsoever. It's not giving these kids a place to go to stay peaceful. It's not giving these kids a place to go to be creative. And then the community will complain about what all these kids are doing, but the community centers are closed. There's only a few people like Denison Memorial, who's very,
Hmm.
very cognizant. Those
Yes.
men at Denison Memorial do a fantastic job, and they go above and beyond. But
Yes.
overall, we would like to make that process easier, and be able to control something that is funded by us, built for us, and curated by us. So when the library's done, it's going to be called the Macy Jemison Library. For anybody who doesn't know, Macy Jemison is the first African American astronaut to go into space, African American female astronaut to go into space.
Wow.
And it's a big deal because the library is being built around STEAM and STEM related literature. So we're thinking about the future, and my dream as a child was to be an astronaut. I would be the first person to sign up to go to Mars. I always talk about it all the time. But the reason that never manifested itself to be is because I didn't have the right energy around me. Nobody, I can go to my boys and be like, "Yo, you know anything about Mercury?" They're like, "Shut up, bro. What are you talking about?"
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we got to get into a space where even if we have our hood characteristics, we're
Yeah.
cool with having nerdy aspects to us.
Yes.
Like, I'm as hood as it gets, but I'm also a nerd. I'm a
Hmm.
multifaceted individual. So again, the communal space is doing a lot of great things. We actually, in August of 2022, this is the big one. This is the big one. In August of 2022, we will be sending 15 youth from New Bedford from here to the UK, and 15 kids from the UK to New Bedford. We've now
Wow.
created and funded an exchange program through Montigny's office and another crew out in the UK called the UK Youth Zones in Grimsby, UK, which is much of their history is much like we are here as far as the Seaport District and all of that stuff. But again,
Okay.
it's a white area, and one of the craziest phenomena to our children that are going to experience over there is to see how the UK police don't carry guns.
Hmm.
When we have Zoom meetings with the kids so they can get to know each other, and that phenomena alone blew their minds away. Like, your cops don't carry guns? What are you talking
Yeah.
about right now? So
Hmm.
again, and then after that, we're throwing darts at the map, and we're going to start sending them wherever. Because for me, travel was another one of the biggest proponents of me becoming an effective leader, if you will. Because I really don't try to be a leader; I try to be amongst the crew. But I'm not afraid to lead because I'm not afraid to take the hits that comes with that.
Yes.
So again, travel to me is one of the most important ways to make a transformative leader and give people worldly perspectives. In my opinion, a racist mind and a hood mind suffer from the same symptoms of things in their communities that create that. And it's sad because we can't see those commonalities to come together, because we're always being pitched by media and other things, the things that aren't common amongst us, the things that are easy to pull out. Like, you're
Hmm.
white, I'm black. That's easy. That's
Yeah.
easy. Let's talk about our struggles, and then we'll realize how many things that we actually have in common. So again, there's a lot of good work being done there. Shout out to Jacob Miller. Shout out to Senator Montigny's office. Shout out to people that are actually seeing what's going on here, understanding my unique, nuanced approach to how I'm dealing with things, and understanding that I'm trying to bring balance back to the equation and trying to curate a very unique Afrocentric style of learning and education in this space and beyond what we're going to be building in the future.
Awesome. That's some. There's so many things out there, and
It's
I'm glad
wild.
that you. I'm, I'm so glad that you reached out and went to certain different venues to get those things. There's so many community block grants that are in the city that are not being unutilized,
Correct.
and I'll never forget 2018. Man, there was not enough applicants, recipients for this. And you talk about the front of your building. There's things, the facade. There's grants out there that will help that out. Help you out where you're worried about, a leaky window, a damaged door, paint chips falling all over the place.
Yes.
Guess what? There's community block grants out there that make it that much better. I tell everybody the city wants to fix the things that they want. They want to fix things. Use the app, see, click, fix. You're on the phone all the time, anyways. You put the app on your phone, and guess what? Snap a picture of it. You see a damaged curb. You see a broken street light, whatever it may be. And guess what? The city, it's dated and it's timed, and they get back to you. It's not something they ignore. They're going to get back to you, and guess what? It's going to get fixed.
Yes.
So we gotta pass on all kinds of different information. And I want to give Senator Montigny a shout out because you know what? Sometimes I'm critical of a lot of
Oh,
politicians
I
in
am
the
too.
area,
I am too.
and and as I'm critical, guess what? I have to give them their just due. This is unbelievable. This is a round peg in a round hole.
You know how
And
I put it, Charlie? I think you do what I do too, and I found a name for it. I coined a name for it. I'm productively critical.
yes,
You know what
okay,
I'm saying? Like I'll
yes,
critique you, but I'm gonna offer you a solution.
hmm
I don't even like because I believe in my heart, honestly. In the US, there is a difference between racism and racial insensitivity.
yes,
There are some white folks, there are pockets out here that these people never engage with any black folks. And the only thing that they've ever seen black as representation is what they see on TV. And same vice versa. When I was growing up, I wasn't conversing with any folks if it was up to mama because everybody was the man. And I'm
yes,
like, who is the man? Who is this person? You know what I'm saying? But again, I had to learn these nuances. You know what I'm saying? And again, I like to be so like I'm not the hugest fan of the Mitchell administration, but I'm also if he's in there and he's going to be in there for a predetermined amount of time, I don't want to do anything to the point where I'm not going to be able to still get progress in what we're trying to get done here. So how do I do it? I pick and choose. Again, this is politics, so people have to understand that it's deeper than just seeing what you see on the news. I pick and choose time and place for different things I'm going to approach and how I'm going to approach it, especially being black, especially being a person of color. See, we can be irate, but we already know the game they play with when we're irate.
hmm
So what I like to do is I like to do something that they're not used to, which is me going directly to you, sitting down with you, telling you how I feel about something, showing you the research and data behind it that supports those feelings, and then giving you a solution. Because you wouldn't believe how many well-intentioned, well-funded, well-informed white folks don't know what to do when it comes to us. They just don't. So what we see is a lot of these programs that come in and it's what they believe is good for us, but it's not what we believe is good for us. So I'm
hmm
trying to create that bridge of communication where we're having more effective conversation that when we come out of that conversation, there's less animosity and more progress. Because
exactly.
we live in a very, very delicate time. It's not just the 5 years here. What's happening in the next 5, 10 years nationally is a very delicate time. We're living in a period we've never seen. Respectfully, a lot of our older generation can tell us about some things, but I say to these young people, when young people come to me about their relationship dynamics, I'm like, I don't know what it's like to argue with somebody in the DM. I don't know. I'm
hmm
sorry. I'm too old. I'm out that game, son. I apologize. I can't. Like she said, where was this? In your inbox? No, it wasn't like she didn't mail you a letter. This was in your inbox. Nah, I
Yeah.
don't know, bro. I don't know. So
hmm
anyway, I've digressed. So again, our greatest leaders, men, women, from Harriet to Malcolm to Medgar Evers to Marsha P. Johnson to all of these people, our greatest leaders in history also understood the importance and the power of diplomacy. Social media has made you think diplomacy is not effective, but where do we get all of that money from? Where do we get the rainy day money from? Where does COVID, where all of this crap coming from? It's coming
Yes.
from somebody doing the diplomacy. It's not coming from what's happening on social media. So we do have to learn that art form. We can't just read The Art of War. We can't just read these books and these things and not actually apply them. Knowledge that's not applied is useless.
hmm You can read 100 books and get nothing out of it, or
And
nothing applied to it. from it.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
the got a comment here is real nice, and it says, "I have things I would like to
Oh
donate
wow.
to Rhino's library. Please visit the Man Cave Depot. We want you to pick up some pieces so that they can stay right here in the city."
I
Awesome.
appreciate that so much.
Yep.
We
Awesome.
will hit
Awesome.
you up.
Good dude. Good dude. Another one. Hidden. Hidden. Hidden but productive. Hidden. The Man Cave Depot. I love you, brother. Yeah, I know who you are.
Thank you for
So
that. I appreciate you. Thank you.
yes, good dude.
And again,
The
this is, I want to stress one more time. This is not about, in the long run, it is about my family name, my legacy. But it is
mhm,
not about the individual Peter in that last name. What I'm doing is sowing seeds for my daughter, Nylan, my daughter's Nyla in Egypt. What I'm doing is more concerned with uplifting my powerful Black woman that I have in my life that has the potential and a higher ceiling than I could ever have. Some people argue that no, that's how I want to feel because I want to put her first. I
of
want to
course.
put them first. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate everybody, but I am literally I'm nuts. You got to be a touch of this, Charlie. You got to have a
Yeah.
touch of madness to do this. And when you're doing good things, what's counterintuitive to me is when I was in the streets, I wasn't challenged as much about what I was doing as I am now. When I'm
hmm
doing good things, I'm constantly poked at. And that's hard because when you're from the streets, you're dealing with something that's just like somebody who's dealing with an addiction.
hmm
There are plenty of days I want to be like, I'm just going to pull up.
Yeah.
But I tell myself, and I have people like you, and I have so many people around me that remind me, I cannot destroy what I've been building all of this time. And I remind myself, I'm great at being autocorrect. You know what I mean? So again, we're appreciative of any help that happens at the communal space, but this is for the community, 1,000%. And we need more than donation. We need your sweat equity.
hmm
We need your bodies to be in the building. If you have a business right now and it's just an idea, but you want to have people come through and check out your ideas, set up some time to come sit down at the communal space. If you got kids having birthday parties, I'm going to do an announcement shortly, but I'm going to be giving out the ability to do free birthday parties for the community here. Period. Just because I want people in the space, I just want people here. I want people to soak up the energy that we're doing. One thing is unique is when people come in here, they do feel an energy, and I've worked very hard. And the reason is because we have red, green, black, you know what I mean? All of our gold, all of our colors in here. There's a vibe. There's traditional African artifacts all throughout the building. These beautiful maternal busts behind me and all this beautiful stuff in here. So we've really worked extremely hard to put together a super dope, experience when you walk into the communal space. And I want to say thank you to Ian White because Ian White was the first person. He gave me a beautiful art piece that was originally from Tanzania. It's a beautiful painting. He was the first person to donate to the space. I'm looking forward to doing more. We're both very busy individuals, and that's the thing
Yeah.
too. So I never want people to
Exactly.
confuse. If I'm busy, that means I'm doing the work that needs to be done. It's not me being stuck up because I
Yeah.
don't have that in me. So I tell people all the time, the best way to reach me is Facebook. Shout out to people like Ian, Charlie, and all these people that have done incredible work. But again, I'm not looking for, I want people to, I'm not looking for like to tell you what program to come here and do. I'm looking for you to have a program in mind. Come here and try it out.
hmm
Try it out. This is the testing ground. We are what I consider to be a diverse arts cultivator, and we built a relationship with all of the established accredited museums in the city. For example, we have two young people of color that have their photography work up at the Ruth E. Carter exhibit right now. They would have never did that before, but because they put their artwork here, and we have those relationships and have people come here and see what they're doing, it was like, wow, they're talented. They put their work into the New Bedford Art Museum. So
Nice.
sometimes in 2021, heading into 2022, we have to be able to distinguish the difference between literal barriers and mental barriers. We
hmm
have to be able to distinguish those two things going into 2022.
Exactly. The
I could talk all day, Charlie. You know me.
I love it. I love it. You know what? Guess what? I'm sitting here and said, "That's my nephew, man. That's my nephew." I
You know what I'm
love it,
saying?
man.
Hey, yo, what's funny? A few people said we look alike too, so I'm gonna take that. Now when I put the
I'll,
glasses on, I'm like, we could
I'll
be
take
related.
it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm checking out Ancestry tonight, and I'm
That's
gonna make
right.
sure. But guess what? We are family.
Yes,
The hearts are
absolutely, we are.
there. You got two hearts. that are trying to do the right thing, and I consider you family.
No, I appreciate that.
You need
It's likewise.
you need blood, you're gonna get it. You need air, you're gonna
Wow.
I'm gonna do it. I'll do whatever I have to for you, and you know what? It is
I'm
what it is,
paying 50
brother.
grand. Am I paying you? Who am I paying? Okay.
The let's see. Um, there's another comment here. Like the free birthday idea, and of course art.
Yeah, kids' birthdays. Kids. Y'all adults, come on now. Stop playing with me.
Hmm.
But kids, all the kids, I got y'all. You know what I mean? Like, this is what
Hmm.
this is for.
Yes.
And we didn't even
The
touch on my whole other brand. Like, I got a whole another monster
Yeah.
behind me. Hold on, let's touch on it real quick.
Let's do it.
So people wonder how I do all this community. Like, how do you keep yourself whole? Well, I was blessed enough that when I was grinding and doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing, I was smart enough with my finance that I put some stuff away.
Hmm.
I also was blessed enough to be able to rebrand and convert my brand over. So I have this brand. It's called I Am Still Ill. And ebonically, that just means I'm still cool, I'm still confident, I'm still motivated. So what I did was I took my brand, which was basically booking. I booked like Rakim, KRS-One, all of these people. I worked with Mob Deep, Jada Kiss, The Locks, all of these people. I don't even care to talk about it anymore, but the young people do care, so it's an effective way for me to talk to them. But with that being said, in 2019, I was just chilling in the house. My phone started blowing up. I've sold a lot of shirts. I've shipped some boxes overseas, but man, I never thought I would get this phone call. And lo and behold, my brand landed in Beyonce's documentary about the Lion King. I mean, I guess you can
Wow.
see why, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and you know how Disney is and ABC is, they'll blur a shirt if they don't want to be seen. So I had hit her up. This goes to point again, mental barriers, physical barriers, right? So I
Yep.
said, why not? You use my shirt. Why not hit you up and say thank you, right? And see what goes
Hmm.
from there. So I hit them up and said thank you. You know what I mean? Thinking I hit up Beyonce's management sites or whatever. And I
Yeah.
got an email back the next day. I couldn't believe it. And they were like, hey, man, we love the brand. Make sure you send us the website and we'll share it out. So it was hilarious. Thank you for putting the website up there,
Yeah.
iamstillill.com. That website didn't exist when they told me that. So I said, okay, I didn't tell them that. See, you got to understand how to play the game. So I said,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you tomorrow morning. I spent the next, this is what I'm talking about. Be prepared for your opportunities. I spent 8 hours. My wife will tell you this. There's plenty of people that can attest to this. I spent 8 hours overnight and I created an entire website, new clothing line, premium quality stuff overnight. I shared that to her peoples. They shared it one time through the management pages of Beyonce's. I won't disclose because I don't like IRS, but a lot of shirts got sold from one share. And I'm thankful for that. But this is what keeps us whole. So if you're interested in, what keeps us whole, the individual whole, everything that happens at the communal space, third eye, all of that other stuff, that's community oriented, community focused stuff. This stuff is what keeps me whole. So please, by all means, if you don't mind, we have the I
That's
am
right.
still on the back, and it's a reminder to the person behind you that they are also still ill. So again, it's an affirmation brand. I started making clothes for yoga and stuff, so it's wild right now. My wife is actually teaching a yoga class over at Power and Grace Yoga in the South End now.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a team
Cool.
effort. Team effort.
Yes, it is. And I love your shirts. I'm wearing one
I
of them
know.
once a week.
Yep. I
uh,
appreciate that.
and I love it. And a t-shirt is golden to me. A hoodie is great for me. Those are the things I wear. So when I'm out and about, guess what? I do have conversations about it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, here I am trying to grab a bite to eat, and someone notices your brand. When we start talking about it. You know,
That's amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing to me.
So
I don't think much of myself. It's weird. People would be surprised.
hmm great man. And the let me see. We got about 6 minutes. I don't want to miss anything. And I say 6 minutes because it's an hour. I know what you're doing, so I don't want to hold you from that.
No, I
Um,
appreciate it.
and we, w- I want to continue to do this. I also want to, you know, kind of do that flash podcast anywhere and kind of just,
Yes.
go to your spot. Do whatever I have to. I got a message to go to the Heal Center, so I'm going to do that in the
Oh,
future.
great people over there. Great
Yeah,
people over there.
and so and that's something I want to do. Just go wherever. Go to the communal spot, 246 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass. Sit there and say, hey. we're going to have the Really Charlie podcast right here, and talk to anybody, whatever it may be. They may
That's
have
dope.
something on their mind, you know.
That's
They may
dope.
have and just want to talk about it. And guess what? I'll put it on there. I'll
You know what
put
I
it
love
on.
most about your podcast? There's no, I don't, it reminds me, it's eerily, it gives me, for lack of a better comparison, it gives me Joe Rogan vibes because you're legitimately just an intrigued person who wants to have conversation with
Yes.
all different kinds of people. I think that's the best way to be when you approach this kind of stuff. I think it's important. That's why, and then, you know, you end up looking at it and it's like, wow, look at what's happening here. You know what I mean? Like I've gained all of this knowledge in these relationships, and you're building a network at the same time where you can have somebody come to you for help or resources, and you have the ability to plug them in with all of these different people that you've met and talked to. You've had some fantastic guests. I feel honored to be a part of the
Thank
history.
you.
I feel like I just entered the Hall of Fame out here. So,
Yep, you
but
did.
again, keep doing that work, man. And that's a great idea, popping up all over the place. That's great. And you know me, if I can help anyway, I will.
Sure. Yes, I'm gonna. You know, and you may have an idea. You might say, "Hey, Charlie, do one of your pop up, you know, podcasts right here." You know, I missed the Third Eye event because I was already doing something
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, and that would have been good. You know, just sitting there and just kind of, you know, just talking with everyone. You know, so
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah,
let's
big,
see.
big, big shout out to my wife. Listen, like I'm nothing, guys. I'm just dust in the wind. Like my wife's Samia Walker. She's from New Bedford. She's one of your own. She's the person that helped me convert my life and turn myself all the way around. She had the patience and the understanding to understand what I've been through to help me get to where I'm at now. She saw this before I saw it.
Hmm.
So again, Samia is an amazing woman. You know, right now she's going through a transition right now where she's looking to be promoted at E4All to finally be in an executive position. I'm not shy about the fact that there are a lot of women of color behind white women in the city and a lot of these organizations, and that is cool and all, but we need more women of color in executive positions. So again, I'm always going to fight for all women of color in the community to understand their own individual value when they're on their own career paths. You know what I mean? So shout out to Samia Walker. Like really, all of this goes to Samia Walker. She's amazing. I actually think that, you know, that's somebody who you should have on for sure, because like you'll see what I'm talking about. Like this is a cool conversation. That one, she's different. She's from another planet. I don't know where she came from.
Well, you know, that was probably my next question to at the end of the podcast was, who do you really want? Who do you want to see on the Really Charlie podcast? And I
Oh,
already,
I got some names for you.
well, all right. So we're gonna start with your wife, your queen. She's number one, and then you can add whoever you want.
So I think obviously we just said Samia. I think
Yep,
there's a few young people that have some very interesting perspectives on things. So I think somebody like a David Andrews, who I can connect you with.
yep.
He's an incredible artist. He's actually here right now painting Halloween decorations on the door. And he's a native of New Bedford, but he traveled. He lived in the DC area. You can find him on Facebook, David Andrews. That's another person I think that would be an incredible conversation to have. I also think that I don't know if you've talked to Carolyn Burke yet from
Uh,
Community Bridges.
when Brandon was on the
Yeah, he mentioned it. I remember
yeah,
that.
he mentioned it.
Yeah,
So
definitely talk to her. She's doing a lot of incredible work in the mental health space.
all right,
And you already had Justina Perry on, but she has, you know, I think keeping her regularly is a good relationship for you as well because of the amount of businesses that she deals with. I think that it would be great if you guys have a partnership there where she's funneling her business people over to you. You know what I mean?
yes, and
And then last,
she is married to my cousin, so I
oh
can just
yeah,
give
I
you a
remember
call.
that. I remember that from that too. Yeah, and
Yeah,
last but certainly not least, I would love to set up having Jabril come on.
yeah,
Because Jabril, now we all know, let's preface this, we all know where Jabril is in his age and his maturity and his wisdom of life, right? Where his light is at in life. But in between the congruence of his conversation, there's so many gems. I mean, anytime I sit with him, I run into him randomly at like Walgreens, whatever, and we'll just sit there for 30 minutes and I will listen to I don't care how much the conversation goes this way, that way, this way, this way. All of it is vital from him. And I also know that there will be, I'm revealing something here, there will be a mural dedicated in his honor. Before
okay,
that mural was done, we wanted to make sure that Jabril's, he was whole first. without
Yes.
saying too much. And then because I didn't feel it was appropriate to make this mural if the man wasn't whole the way he needed to be in the community.
True.
So, myself, Jacob, and a whole bunch of other wonderful people, including his wife and his daughter, came together and figured out how to put this mural that will be taking place downtown. That's the most I'll say. But I think that would be dope to have him on for that reveal when we do that.
Awesome. It I can't even everything that you feel and our expression about Jabril. It's the same with me. And he's definitely was good friends with my dad, and him and I have a better relationship than him and my dad have. So we
Yes.
he means a lot to me, and I definitely anything with him I'm going to be involved in. Um, you know, 100%. The Stephanie Santos, she said that she was willing to go down, and her brother Michael says my sister Stephanie should stop by Union Street and show
Please do.
Stephanie's creations, which
Please
is
do.
she does a tremendous job with all her creativity, along with working a full time job. She's still doing a second job that keeps her busy too. So,
Yes.
Stephanie, you definitely gotta get down there. I know you have a break during the day, and or reach out, through Facebook with Lionel, and get this done.
Come on down.
All
Nothing
right.
but love here.
All right, brother, man. Please take some pictures of what you're doing down there. Share them,
Yes.
and anybody, Mr. Andrews, Miss Burke, Justina, Miss Perry, and also your wife. I will be reaching out to them and try to get them here on the podcast within this month, October, November. Okay.
Awesome. And again, I'm I'm still buzzing off. I'm about to go announce it. I'm about to be yelling on the mic all night. I got the sunshine award. We out here, baby. We out here.
I love it, man. I
Thank you
love
so
it.
much, Charlie. I appreciate you, man.
God bless. I appreciate you, and let's talk in a couple of days, man.
Absolutely.
All right. God bless.
Peace.
All right. Lionel Peter Walker from the Communal Space, 246 Union Street, New Bedford, Mass. Definitely the man that I love and get inspired by every time I talk to him. He's doing some great things, and he's helping out some young folks with some positive attitudes and some positive goals. So if you have anything to offer the community, try the communal space and definitely bring it there. Whatever your brainstorm is, bring it there. And definitely, there's so many people there that will actually, the inspiration you're giving them, you know, can be that next host there at the communal space and do different things. The kids parties, he's definitely looking to open that up, like he said. So opportunities, just go down there, and it's always going to lead to another conversation where you can enlighten Peter Walker, and he will enlighten you, and you can all work together to get things done, accomplished here in the city of New Bedford, especially downtown. And the wind farms, definitely. There's so much training. I'm going to work on that right now. I'm going to get everything, all the information that I need to. I'm going to reach out to a couple of people I know, and then post that on the Really Charlie podcast group, and definitely make some announcements here, and so you all will be well informed of what's going on. Along with the Really Charlie podcast, please listen to me on WMB1 Radio, where I'm serving R&B music on the rocks, chilled music and a chilled host, where you get to listen to the music you love the most on WMB1 Radio, Tuesdays 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And this coming week, I will have another co-host, which is Russell Ramus, former DJ 91.1 WUSM, and he's going to come on a weekly basis and definitely share his knowledge, and also, you know, help me create a nice playlist for you to listen to every week on Tuesday. But WMB1 is on 24/7. Different DJs playing different music, and please support that local station. Another landmark, downtown New Bedford, WMB1 Radio. All right, y'all. I got another guest on Friday, Mike Smale, basketball athlete, a basketball star in my eyes. You know, he's got some history. He's definitely a basketball historian when it comes to the local high schools, the state high schools. He's definitely done a lot and has a lot of history. And I'll have him Friday, 7 p.m. And we're going to talk basketball. Holy Family, Fairhaven High School. And we're going to go on and on for a good hour, maybe an hour and a half, to definitely share these stories. So please join me on Friday. All right, y'all. The Really Charlie podcast on StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. Please join me. And if you have any guests that you want on the podcast, you can also catch me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And just send me a message, and I'll try to get that guest on here. All right. God bless. Have a good week. Say your prayers and stay safe. You may not want that vaccine, but please stay safe. Mask yourself. Use hand sanitizer. Do all the things that you need to keep yourself safe. We're losing too many iconic people all over the world, all over the country, because of this pandemic. Please stay safe. Love you guys. God bless.